Bonjour, this is the PrinceofMacedon doing a multiplayer commentary video for Napoleon Total War Online. This is the France versus Austria battle. I command the French, and my opponent is Chunky Lover 57 2008 in command of the Austrians. We're going to look at my French army first. And this is the large funds battle. I prefer these battles because I can make bigger armies. And anyways, my army, I have tons of fusiliers, and I've got my skirmishers supporting them. Towards the back of my army, I've got this elite unit. This is the Old Guard. These are Napoleon's favorites. And speaking of Napoleon, guess who I brought back to the battlefield? It's Napoleon. There he is. I wanted to bring Marshal Ney so that people could see what he looks like, but I just couldn't resist bringing the Emperor to the battlefield. Anyways, I got some cuirassiers again, and they are the really nice, heavy French cavalry. And I got this howitzer team right here. I'm going to bring them up and do battle with the Austrian army. Let's go look at the Austrian army commanded by Chunky Lover. He has 4 squadrons of dragoons, and after that I don't really know the numbers of his army, but I forgot to count. But he has a Landwehr unit. I think he only has 1 unit of the Landwehr. Those are very cheap militia type units. Then he has tons of fusiliers. These are German fusiliers, and this is one big line of them. And they're wearing a predominantly white uniform. And here's my opponent's general. He's also using a historical general. This is the Archduke Charles. And I probably would have deployed my historical general further behind my lines, just in case my artillery doesn't blast him. Alright, so there's more German fusiliers, and there's my artillery firing. Trying to give him a wake-up call. He has 3 teams here of 12-pounder foot artillery. Those are very heavy artillery pieces. And he has a Jaeger unit, 1 or 2, maybe 3 Jaeger units. And I'm not sure how many there were, and I forgot where they were exactly. And right there is my howitzer. And you can see, at first I had my guys formed in column, but when I saw how long my opponent's lines were, I redeployed into a line. So I wanted to match his width. So you can see I have opened the first shots of the battle, but my opponent's returning fire now. And unfortunately, his artillery just blasted his own troops. Do you see how his infantry is deployed right in front of his artillery? Yeah, that's actually bad because it'll hurt your own guys. Some of his troops are getting back up, but not all of them. So you don't want to put your infantry right in front of your cannons. So you can see my guys got some shots at his dudes right there. But whenever his artillery fires, he kills more of his guys than I get of his. Look at that, bam! It's like his artillery carries special ammunition. Alright, so here's one of his Jaeger units. This is a Windbuscher Jäger, and those guys have a range of 125. The French skirmishers only have a supreme range of 100. So you can see that the Austrians and the Prussians both have a superior edge in skirmishing over an army like France. Alright, so those are my skirmishers. I really dig their uniforms. A lot of nice looking blue. But yeah, I'm bringing up my skirmishers. And even though his guys outrange mine, I'm still going to try to match his skirmishers with my own skirmishers. And does anybody want a horse? It's free. Okay. Apparently none of my skirmishers want the horse. So it's just my opponent's artillery line. And they are supported... Oh, look at that. Bam! Another set of his troops died at his own hands. If I was the Archduke, I'd be really pissed at my own troops right now. Anyways, I got my skirmishers way up there, and you can see my heavy infantry line is not too far behind. So I want to get into a musket battle here soon. But yeah, you can see the little skirmish fight right now. Some of his Jaegers are appearing. And also his heavy infantry is also in range of my skirmishers as well. So I want to start bringing up my heavy infantry line soon so I can do battle with his heavy infantry. And look, here I launched this cavalry assault on my opponent's army. It's 1 squadron, and I have another squadron right behind them. My opponent sees what I'm doing, so he launches his dragoons on his left wing to attack my cuirassiers. And I have another squadron of cuirassiers right behind my first squadron, so I'm going to sandwich his dragoons But unfortunately, my guys are still outclassed in this battle because I'm fighting right next to his army. So I call this my Marshal Ney attack. Maybe by throwing away my cavalry, the rest of my infantry will fight stronger. But yeah, here it is, Cuirassiers versus Austrian Dragoons. I think in a one-on-one, my Cuirassiers can take these guys on in a melee. But it's not a one-on-one fight. And you can see the guy said my guys are running, but I'm showing a different part of the battlefield where his guys are running. And those were his, I think his German Fusiliers. They tried to bayonet charge my guys, but my Fusiliers were up to the task. So these are my Fusiliers and my skirmishers working in close contact with each other. And those really nice looking artillery blasts are coming from me. And here's my opponent. He was successful in killing my Cuirassiers, so he decided to attack my skirmish line with his dragoons, but my guys are ready. They set up their stakes, and then the infantry nearby turned into a square, so he withdrew his dragoons. And there my Fusiliers are in range of his artillery there. But my cavalry assault managed to wipe out 2 of his artillery pieces, so I was pretty happy about that. Because if I let those guys keep firing at my guys, that would be really bad for the French army. Anyways, his crewmen decide to abandon their guns. So I pretty much won on the right wing here. His dragoons are sitting back there. And I also won in the center. You can see my infantry line obliterated his. And he still has his right wing intact, which is opposite my left wing. But I'm going to start doing battle with them too. So I have basically most of my army is intact. I have lost my cavalry, but I have everything else still to fight with. And that's a close-up of his Landwehr, I believe. All right, so I'm bending my lines here. Just want to get some perpendicular shots at his line. So you can see most of his army's retreating right now. And now my guys are in range of his cavalry, and he didn't realize that because he was watching the other part of the battlefield. But seeing that, he decided to launch his cavalry in a charge against my Fusiliers. But my Fusiliers were able to take down his dragoons because his cavalry is already depleted. But typically, yeah, that charge probably would have succeeded because my guys were just in a line. They should have been in a square. Anyways, my opponent still has,
our men are running,
on this side of the battlefield, he has his artillery, and he has a Windbusche Jäger way back there. I hear my opponent launched another Dragoon assault on my left wing, and he actually routed one of my units, I believe. So when I saw his cavalry being launched, I decided to activate the Old Guard. And these are the guys that you called in at the last second to save your army. They're kind of like the Triarii. These are your experienced troops. These are Napoleon's veterans, and they were very hardcore. So I'm going to charge at his horses. Even though it didn't look like it, I am charging at his horses. But because my line's so stretched out, they're actually going to the side of them. But with that charge, his cavalry is actually routed from the battlefield. So I'm just going to keep my guards rolling here. And in front of my guards, there's another unit of Austrian troops. I think they are Landwehr. I'm going to show you in a second. And I'm keeping my general towards the main part of the battlefield, just to keep him ready in case he needs to inspire his troops or rally people that are retreating. But my opponent's out of troops for the most part. He has like 2 units back here. One is a skirmish unit, and the other is, I think, the crew of an artillery piece or something. But yeah, the battlefield's very scattered right now. And here's those units that I was chasing. There you go. Yeah, it's Landwehr. So my guards aren't gonna make it there before the battle ends, but they're gonna try. And yep, here's Napoleon. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing close-ups of Napoleon just because he's the man. All right, yeah. So looks like one of my units actually did rout. That's kind of embarrassing when the battle's already over and they still rout. All right, yeah. So that's the artillery team. And they stopped routing, but my Fusiliers made sure they got off the battlefield. And here are the Jaegers. That's just the regular unit of Jaegers. And they are retreating as well. So that's the end of the battle. Good game to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed this.